what was in the letter that was written by the Ghana Armed Forces and who signed it? Let's go to that. This is the letter. Army Headquarters, Burma Camp, Accra, 77539 something. 12 September 2007. Reference, Army number, please. Release from service for unsatisfactory conduct. Lieutenant Richard Jakpa. These are the details. The above-named officer was commissioned into the Armor Corps as a regular officer on 21st August 1998. All things being equal, the officer should have made the rank of captain on 21st August 2002 and a major on 21st August 2007. He has consistently failed his promotion exams and now lags behind his mates in rank. Also, his service with the colors has been largely unsatisfactory, marked by consistent fraudulent conduct, abrasiveness, and general indiscipline. Viewers, note the words that were used, and I'll come to the one who signed it. His service with the colors has been largely unsatisfactory, marked by consistent fraudulent conduct, abrasiveness, and general indiscipline. 2. In addition, Lieutenant Richard Jakpa has incessantly been indebted to various people / institutions during the period. An example was his long indebtedness to Recce Regiment PRI to the tune of $300, which he was unable to pay till authority was sought for the amount to be deducted from his salary. Wow. Throughout his service life, Lieutenant Richard Jakpa of number GH2899 has proved consistently that he belongs to a world incompatible with the decent and gentlemanly composure that the Presidential Commission confers on officers of the Ghana Armed Forces. He is a bad example by all standards, and his continued retention in the service is likely to cause more harm to the service and to himself. Indeed, in May 2004, a special report submitted on him by his commanding officer suggested that the officer had reached his ceiling. 3 years on, his new commanding officer describes his conduct as shameful and regrettable. Paragraph 4. From the foregoing, the continued retention of Lieutenant Jakpa is not in the best interest of the Ghana Armed Forces and indeed himself. It has accordingly been decided that Lieutenant Jakpa be released from the service forthwith. I am therefore directed to request that Lieutenant Jakpa be released from the service for inefficiency under Article 15, Item 2A, through continued lack of application of interest, and Item 2C, unsatisfactory conduct of the Armed Forces Regulations, Volume 1 Admin, respectfully submitted. Great. Signed, Brigadier General M.K.G. Ahiaglo for Chief of Army Staff. Leave it there. Who is Brigadier General Ahiaglo? That's the question. Brigadier General Ahiaglo became the Southern Command Commander when Professor Mills was president. And when John Mahama became president, Brigadier Ahiaglo had retired from the service and he was made a Director General of the Ghana National Lotteries. To all intents and purposes, Brigadier General Ahiaglo, may he rest in peace, was friendly to the National Democratic Congress. To all intents and purposes. And why do I say that? And there's nothing wrong with that. Because Brigadier General Ahiaglo was Southern Command Commander during the Mills era. And during the Mahama era, after he had retired from the service, the government of President Mahama found it necessary to keep him within the government sector. And he became a chief executive of the Ghana National Lotteries Authority. Who is Brigadier General Ahiaglo's wife? My very good friend and a woman that I thoroughly admire. Jifa Gomashi, the member of parliament for Keta or Ketu South. Please check. Jifa Gomashi is the member of parliament. Is it Keta or Ketu South? I'm not sure. Keta. There's no Keta South, though. It's Ketu South or Keta. Yes. This is Jifa Gomashi, the famous actress. Great woman. Fantastic woman. She was Deputy Minister of Tourism. That is NDC Deputy Minister of Tourism. NDC member of parliament for Ketu South. That is Jifa Gomashi. This is Jifa Gomashi's late husband, General Ahiaglo, who signed a dismissal letter to Richard Jakpa. Are you getting the things, viewers? So all this political witch hunting, and it doesn't seem to hold. The allegations of political witch hunting that has been presented in favor of Richard Jakpa doesn't seem to hold. This is General Ahianglo who signed your letter. And all of these words inside was seen by General Ahianglo. And he must have concurred on those words to sign out Richard Jakpa. General Ahianglo was married to Jifa Gomashi, who is still a member of parliament for Ketu South for the National Democratic Congress. So Richard Jakpa, the people who took you out of the armed forces are not Kwame Adokufo. He was defense minister. It's not John Ajekum Kufuor. He was president. It is the people you work with who found that you had unsatisfactory conduct. Now, viewers, let's come back to the question. Johnson Asiedu Adom-Otchere is a chairman of the National Democratic Congress, a big political party. Johnson Asiedu Adom-Otchere had been a member of parliament before. Forget about Samuel James. He's young. He's like me. We are all young. We make mistakes. Forget about Samuel James. Johnson Asiedu Adom-Otchere is not young. He's a seasoned politician. And he must have some patriotic streak within him because he's been a member of parliament before. Did he ask himself, who is Richard Jakpa? What is his background? What is in the case? What is happening before he conducted that press conference presenting Richard Jakpa as a paragon of virtue? The man that Asiedu Adom-Otchere presented as a paragon of virtue, these are the words that the armed forces used for him. He's a bad example by all standards. And his continued retention in the service is likely to cause more harm to the service and to himself. Indeed, in May 2004, a special report submitted on him by the commanding officer suggested that the officer had reached his ceiling. 3 years on, his new commanding officer described his conduct as shameful and regrettable. From the foregoing, the continued retention of Lieutenant Jakpa is not in the best interest of the Ghana Armed Forces, indeed himself. It has accordingly been decided that Lieutenant Jakpa be released from the service. This is the character of the person that the National Democratic Congress, 6 months to election, presented as a paragon of virtue to Ghanaians, who has conducted a recording of the Attorney General and who is happy that he has conducted a recording of the Attorney General and that he has found something in what the Attorney General in the recording said. The court, led by his lordship, said that he has listened to the tape 10 times. Nowhere did the Attorney General say that you should incriminate anybody. But this was the focus of Johnson Asiedu Adom-Otchere's campaign. You may not be a supporter of the National Democratic Congress, but that doesn't matter. It is important that the leaders of Ghana, because of the youth and because of the future, they must have a certain streak of standard. Johnson Asiedu Adom-Otchere should not be able to present somebody who an important institution of states like the Ghana Armed Forces has said these things about him. At the minimum, they should have checked or at least interviewed Richard Jakpa. Who are you? How did you get into this contract? What? They should have done that. Maybe they did. Maybe they did not. I don't know. But this is the end of the story. You see how sometimes it's important for patience? When the story broke, everybody was doing KKK. Wait, let us get there. The same said Richard Jakpa has also pocketed 700,000 euro. Ask Sami Jemfi that question. President Mahama has a press conference next week. Journalists, ask him that question. That President Mahama, raise your hand. They'll call you. Kofi Mensah from Oyerepa FM. You come. You say, President Mahama, good evening. Thank you very much. Please, records show that Richard Jakpa had been released from the armed forces on very bad behavior. Do you support and endorse the press conference carried out by Johnson Asiedu Adom-Otchere, the chairman of your party, who is seated next to you, and Samuel Jemfi, the national propaganda secretary of your party, who is also seated there? They carried a press conference on this character and presented him to Ghanaians as a paragon of virtue. Mr. President, do you support that? And then you go and sit down. Those days, that's the questions we used to ask those days. Me, I will not attend the press conference. I'll be listening to it on radio. Anyway, General, I salute. General Ahianglo, may he rest in peace. Jifa Gomashi, one of the women that I thoroughly admire from the days at National Theatre. This is General Ahianglo and his wife. This is General Ahianglo who signed the Jakpa's letter. This is him. May he rest in eternal peace. This is General Ahianglo who signed Richard Jakpa's letter. He was the chief executive of the National Lottery Authority. General, those days in John Mohammed's period. Before then, he was the brigade commander, the Southern Command. Very, very strong soldier. He lived all his life at Labadi Villas. I knew him since I was 7 years old. This General Ahianglo, he passed not too long ago. May he rest in eternal peace. So this is Richard Jakpa.